little star, can you make a wish? Ooh, just remember, luck is no such thing. One man succeeds while another man fails. Why is it then you ask the star up above?
Coming to you from Harlem, New York City, you're watching Astrology, Numerology now for Thursday, June 10th, 2021. I'm your host. You already know. This is Z Starman, professional astrologer, numerologist. It's a special day here on Astrology, Numerology now. Number one, it's my birthday. It's my Earth Day meaning the day that I came into the Earth. And it's a special day because it was a solar eclipse. Today was solar eclipse day here in New York City and the rest of the world. So solar eclipses bring new changes and new beginnings. And I hope everybody out there are about to receive a lot of blessings and new changes and new beginnings in their life. On today's show, we're going to talk about some of the June astrology and numerology highlights, and we're going to talk about the Democratic mayoral candidates, their birthdays, their astrology charts, their numerology charts, and how they match up with each other. So let's begin. But first, I want to thank everyone for sending me all the birthday love on social media, the phone calls, the texts. It's amazing. And again, thank you for the love and thank you for your birthday wishes. Now, just to talk a few things from an astrology point of view, the sun is in the sign of Gemini, and it's going to be in Gemini until June 20th at 11:31 p.m. And that's when we start the summer solstice. And that's when Cancer season starts. I don't like to say Cancer. I like to say Moonchild season. So happy birthday to all the Geminis who are watching the show and all the Cancer people or all the Moonchild people. Get ready because your turn is coming up. Now for June 2021, we're in a number 11 universal month. If we take the month of June, which is the 6th month, and add it on to the 5 universal year of 2021, 6 plus 5 is 11. So for June, we're in a number 11 universal month. A lot of frequencies, a lot of vibrations. And I feel so great, maybe because today is my birthday, but for the world at large, we're starting to come back, at least here in New York City. We can see the light at the end of the tunnel, so to speak. And June has been an amazing month. Stadiums are open, concerts are open. People are out and about like it used to be over before the pandemic started. So that's the vibration of June 2019. Vibrate on a higher frequency for June 2019. Now, another thing that we have going on right now is that Mercury is still retrograde. Mercury has been retrograde since June 22nd, 2021. Excuse me, I got that wrong. Mercury's been retrograde since May 29th. May 29th, Mercury has been retrograde in the sign of Gemini, and it goes direct on June 22nd. You've been watching the show the last 14 years, and I'm pretty sure the world is aware of what a Mercury retrograde is. That's sort of kind of like a cosmic timeout. We don't start things, we don't do new things. We reflect, we rethink, we plan. Mercury is the sign of communications. And we've already had glitches when it comes to communications. Internet crashes, there are all kinds of hacks going on in computers of government agencies. And the main rule of Mercury retrograde is what can go wrong will go wrong. And always expect the unexpected when it comes to everyday life. So Mercury's retrograde in the sign of Gemini. This will last until June 22nd, the day of the Democratic primary elections. If you're just tuning in, this is Z Starman, and you're watching Astrology, Numerology Now. And on tonight's show, we're talking about the astrology charts of the Democratic candidates for mayor of New York City. And the primary election is ranked choice voting, where you can pick up to 5 different candidates. And also, you can have, I think this is the first time for mayor in New York, there's ranked voting where you can pick up to 5 candidates. So how many you pick, just get out there and vote and choose and help elect the next mayor of New York City. Now let's talk about these candidates. Now, before we begin that, let's talk about New York City. What is New York City's astrology chart? Astrology, anything, any event, any place, any time can have an astrology chart. Now, New York City's birthday is January 1st, 1898. So that's the day that, you know, New York has been around longer than that, but that's when the consolidation of New York happened on January 1st, 1898. And it sort of kind of makes New York City a Capricorn. New York City is a Capricorn. Look at Capricorns. They're about money, business, and power. This is the Empire State. And we look around and, you know, sometimes I go out of town and I take New York for granted, you know, but when I come back, I say, wow, what a powerful city this is. Now, New York City's moon sign, it's big 3. Everybody should know their big 3. What's your sun sign? What's your moon sign? What's your rising sign? New York City, again, is a Capricorn. Its birthday is January 1st, 1898, but its moon sign is Aries. And New York City has about 4 planets in the sign of Sagittarius. Sagittarius is the sign of long distance travel and journey. And as we know, as native New Yorkers, people from all over the world live here. 4 planets in Sagittarius. Ellis Island, the immigrants, it's an immigrant city. So New York City is a Capricorn with the moon in Aries, and its rising sign is Libra. New York City's rising sign is Libra. You know, Libra is ruled by the planet Venus. And we think of all the beauty everywhere in New York City. I don't care what borough you go to. Just think of the performing arts. We got Broadway, we got Lincoln Center. We have the greatest museums in the world and the greatest restaurants in the world. So New York City is a Capricorn with the moon in Aries and Libra rising sign. So that's the beauty of New York City. Now, which one of these candidates from an astrology point of view would make the best mayor of New York City? Now let's talk about the current mayor of New York City, who is Bill de Blasio. Bill de Blasio's birthday is May 8th, 1961, and his moon sign is Pisces. Know your big 3. His moon sign is Pisces, and his rising sign is Scorpio. And from a numerology point of view, he's in his life path number or destiny number is 3, and his personal year for 2021 is 9. 9 is the number of ending. So due to term limits, his time is up as mayor of New York City. Now, and 9 rules endings and the end of the road, and it's sort of kind of graduation period for de Blasio. It's over. So it's time to elect a new mayor of New York City. Now let's talk about these candidates. We're going to begin with Diane Morales. Diane Morales is her birthday, her big 3. So, well, some cases we don't have her rising sign, but she is a Cancer, sun sign Cancer. Her birthday is June 21st, 1967, and her moon sign is Sagittarius. Again, that New York factor, 4 planets in Sagittarius. Sagittarius is about long distance travels and journey. And her life path number is the number 5. She's Harvard educated. She's from Bedford-Stuy, Brooklyn. So Diane Morales, once again, she's a Cancer with the moon in Sagittarius and a number 5 life path number. It's interesting that she's in a number, this is a number 5 life path number, and this is a 5 universal year. So that sort of kind of works in her favor. Up next, who do we got up next? We have Sean Donovan. Sean Donovan's birthday is January 24th, 1966, and his moon sign is Pisces. Again, Sean Donovan, January 24th, 1966. He has the moon in Pisces. His life path number, your life path number is the sum total of the numbers, the month, day, and year of your birthday. And his life path number is 11. And this is a number 11 personal year or personal universal month. And his personal year is the number 3. So that's Sean Donovan. Again, Sean Donovan's birthday is June 21st, 1967. He's an Aquarius with the moon in Sagittarius. Now, up next is Ray McGuire. Ray McGuire is also an Aquarius. His birthday is January 23rd, 1967, and his moon sign is Cancer. He's Aquarius with the moon in Cancer, and his life path number is the number 11 also. See, him and Sean Donovan are a year and a day apart. Sean Donovan is older by a year and a day than Ray Donovan. And that's why they sort of kind of both have the number 11 life path. This is a number 11 universal month. And again, Ray McGuire, his moon sign is Cancer, and he is also, now know your personal year in astrology. Know what your personal year is by adding your month, your numerical month and date of birth to the current universal year. And he is in an 11 personal year. So Ray McGuire, he's an 11 life path number and in a number 11 personal year for 2021. If you're just tuning in the show, this is astrologer Z Starman, and we're talking about the astrology charts of the Democratic mayoral candidates in the upcoming primary election on June 22nd. Early voting begins from June 12th to July 20th. And we're breaking down the astrology charts of all the candidates who are running for mayor. If you want to talk to me after the show, you can contact me by giving me a call, area code 917-473-2211. Again, call me after the show if you want to talk astrology and numerology, if you want to know your personal year, if you want to know your big 3. Again, astrology basically is knowing at least your big 3. There's more to you than being a Virgo. There's more to you than being a Capricorn. There's more to me than being a Gemini. Know where the other planets are in your astrology chart. You can contact me at, again, 917-473-2211. I'm on all the social media platforms as Z Starman, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and you can even email me at astrologylover@hotmail.com. Again, this is Z Starman, astrologer numerologist, And we're talking about the astrology charts of the Democratic mayoral candidates. Up next is the leading contender right now, according to the polls, is Maya Wiley. Maya Wiley, her birthday is January 2nd. She's a Capricorn, 1967, and her moon sign is Leo. She's a Capricorn. Again, knowing your big three. We don't have rising signs because we weren't able to get the birth times of all the candidates. That determines your rising sign. But Maya Wiley, she's January 2nd, 1963. Her moon sign is Leo. And again, she's a Capricorn. Remember, we talked about earlier that New York City is ruled by Capricorn. And we haven't had a Capricorn candidate in over 100 years, or a Capricorn mayor in over 100 years in New York City, before consolidation, which happened January 1st, 1898. So Maya Wiley, she's a Capricorn with the moon in Leo, and her life path number is the number 5. We're in a 5 universal year. 5 is about change. There's so many people wanting a woman to be mayor of New York City, and she's inching up from the latest polls. She's now in 2nd place in the race for mayor. But again, she's a Capricorn. And her personal year, what is the personal year? The personal year is the sum total, once again, of your month of birth, your numerical month of birth, date of birth, added to the current year. So she's January 2nd, that's 3. The current universal year is 5. So 3 and 5 is 8. So this is a very powerful moment. She could, because Mercury is retrograde, could be that upset that I'm thinking about. So that's Maya Wiley from an astrology, numerology point of view. Up next, who do we have up next? Scott Stringer. Poor Scott Stringer. I personally had met Scott and talked to him, and before the scandal, he would have been an ideal mayor for New York City. But Scott Stringer's birthday is April 29th, 1960. And he has the moon in the sign of Libra. And he, again, he's a Taurus, but what's going on with Scott right now is, for you astrologers who watch astrology, he has Uranus, the planet of change, that's passing through his astrology chart right now. So if you're a Taurus, or you have heavy Taurus placements in your astrology chart, your life is beginning to change. So Scott Stringer, he's a Taurus with the moon in the sign of Libra. Who do we have up next? Up next, we have another long shot, and that is Catherine Garcia, the former sanitation commissioner. Catherine Garcia, her birthday is March 3rd. She's a Pisces, and her moon sign is Capricorn. See, New York City is run by Capricorn, ruled by Capricorn, but Catherine Garcia, she's a Pisces, March 3rd, 1970. And I like her numbers. Catherine, one of the things about her, she rose through the ranks of sanitation commissioner. She never went to college, and she became commissioner. And how did she do all of this? Her life path number is the Master 22. Very powerful person. When you have a Master 22 life path number, the universe works for you and puts you in places, big places, that you can at least expect it. But again, this is a number 11 universal month for Catherine for 2022. 21, this is a number 11 universal year. So the month of June is 11. Her universal or her personal year for 2021 is a number 11. And she could be one of those people who come from the back of the pack to win it all. Up next, we have, and if you're just tuning in again, we're talking about the astrology charts of mayoral candidates for mayor here in New York City. Up next is Andrew Yang. Everybody knows Andrew. Andrew Yang's birthday is January 13th, another Capricorn. New York City is ruled by Capricorn. He has the moon in Aquarius, and he has Capricorn rising also. And his life path number is the number 1. His life path number is the number 9, but this is a number 1 universal year, personal year for Andrew himself. He's in a number 1 year. Number 1 is the year of new beginnings, new adventures. So Mr. Yang went from, and he's the youngest mayoral candidate who went from running for president of the United States and to being a candidate for mayor of New York City. Now, again, Andrew Yang, his birthday is January 13th, 1975, and he has the moon in Aquarius and Capricorn rising. And we just talked about the Capricorn influence here in New York City, since New York City is a Capricorn. And last but not least is Brooklyn Borough President Eric Adams. Eric Adams, his birthday is September 1st, 1960. His moon sign, check this out, his moon sign is Capricorn. Again, it's about knowing your big 3. We don't have his big 3, we have big 2. He's a Virgo, all earth. Virgo, Taurus, and Capricorn are the earth signs. And his life path number is the number 8. 8 is about money, business, and power. Eric, and I'm going to say this, I feel that Eric Adams is the best candidate for the mayor of New York. On a personal note, my mother used to babysit Eric Adams when he was a child. And to watch Eric Adams grow and prosper over the years, from a police officer to captain of the police department to being Brooklyn Borough President, he's the only elected official. He's the only one who's been elected. Well, not the only one, Scott Springer, he was elected Manhattan Borough President, but Eric Adams, I believe, will be the best choice for mayor of New York. He's been added, he's been on the front scene and in the trenches fighting for truth and justice, not for Black people, but Asian people, Jewish people. The Hasidic community loves him in Brooklyn. And I do predict that Eric will be the next mayor of New York City. So there you have it, the astrology charts, the candidates for mayor of New York City, the Democratic mayoral candidates for New York City. And again, if you want to talk to me after the show, give me a call, 917-473-2211. Now, before we leave, here are some other June highlights. We got about 2 minutes left and we'll try to get everything in. Number 1 is that Jupiter will be retrograde. Jupiter is the ruler of the sign of Sagittarius. So Jupiter is in retrograde from June 20th to October 18th, 2021. Neptune, also the ruler of Pisces, will be retrograde from June 25th to June 21st, 2021. Mars is in the sign of Leo. So I expect a confrontation. Mars is the planet of war and action. And I think there's going to be some stuff going on between the major governments or the major superpowers during that month. Now, before we leave, I just wanted to talk about the astrology charts of some of the Brooklyn Nets. As we all know, Brooklyn, the Nets are in the playoffs. And Kevin Durant, superstar Kevin Durant, he is a Virgo, or he's a Libra. September 29th, 1961, he has the moon in Taurus. Kyrie Irving, his birthday is March 23rd. He's in Aries with the moon in Scorpio. His life path number is 11. James Harden, the Beard, his birthday is August the 26th, 1989. And his moon sign is Cancer. And the head coach of the New York Nets, or excuse me, the Brooklyn Nets. I remember when they used to be the New York Nets. The head coach of the Brooklyn Nets is Steve Nash. Steve Nash's birthday is February 7th, 1974. That's about all the time we have for Astrology, Numerology Now. I want to thank you, the viewers, for tuning in and watching Astrology, Numerology Now over the last 14 years, making this one of the longest astrology shows in New York history. Thank you for watching. I want to thank my producer, director, Deetra Kelsey, the lovely, beautiful Deetra Kelsey, who makes all this stuff happen. This has been Z Starman, professional astrologer and numerologist, wishing you peace, love, light. Thank you for the birthday wishes. Namaste.
Who controls your very soul?